Okay. So 16th question is they will ask you to install Helm repository. So you can go back and refer to this chapter in your lab guide, which is your I think it's your first or second chapter, if I'm not wrong. So you have Helm. So this is the Helm chapter. So you can use this second chapter, and then you can practice this. So like if you go back, so in the exam they will give you the repository URL, Helm repository URL. So we need to create a repository using that particular name, example app. So that is the name that you need to use to create this repository, and then you have to deploy the Etherpad application, right? So in the exam, you don't have to run this lab command. So they will give you the URL, create a repository, and then we will see how we can solve this paper, right? Question, right? So for us, like you can run this lab start charts, right? And then you can use Helm repo list. Currently, they will not be repositories. Then you just say Helm repo add, and remember they will give you this name DAT repo, some name they will give. So that name should match. Otherwise, your question will be wrong. So whatever name that they give it, right? Give that name followed by the URL, and then you can search for the repositories, the existing versions, and then they will ask you to deploy the application using some values, right? So the command is Helm show values. You guys has idea of Helm charts, right? Right?
No, I don't have much idea on those.
Yeah. So Helm is nothing but a process to install the application because you have a lot of YAML files, right? You cannot edit those YAML files, multiple YAML files, right? For that, there is a repository where you will have all the files in a particular repository. Then what you have to do is you have to show the values actually. So help show values, show the values. Now, based on these values, you have to edit your values.yaml file. So in the exam, they will tell you this image registry name, which version you have to use, and they will give you the route name. So they will give you these three things. So what they will ask you to do is they will ask you to configure a Helm repository, and they will ask you to deploy the application using that Helm repository with the customized variables like changing the image name or a tag name, or they will also ask you to change the post name. So those are the three things that they will ask. So we have to create a values.yaml file. We have to copy the contents here, and then right? So we have to do the thing and then create a new project and Helm install and install your application, right? So the same thing we can do it in our lab also. So here for you to practice, right, you run this lab start command. So again, in exam you don't have to run this, but when you're practicing, you have to run this. When you practice, you run this lab command. Okay. So but before that, let's delete all the projects that I've created. Post delete project. Let's delete all the resources because I need to free up the resources. Now, to run this, you run this lab start command. Okay, so to create the environment for you to practice. Next thing is Helm repo list. So currently you will not have any repositories. Okay, so now in the exam also you will see when you run a Helm repo list, you will not see any repos. So in the exam, they will give you this name, they will give you this URL, right? So all you need to do is Helm repo add, give the name, and URL. Remember, if you give a wrong name, if you give a wrong URL, you will lose your question. Okay, Helm repo add your repository. Okay, and if you say Helm repo list now, you should be able to see the repository name with that URL. So this is how you need to cross check, right? Once you have that repository, right, you can do Helm search repo versions, right? So you have to practice all this command. So if you see, I have Etherpad 6 version, Etherpad 7 version, example chat 1, and I have multiple applications with multiple versions. So in the exam, if you observe, they will ask you to they will ask you to run a specific version which is 006, right? So etherpad 006. So how do you check that? Etherpad 006. So for multiple applications you have multiple versions. In the exam they will give you the application name followed by the version number. So again, remember, you might get etherpad or you can get a different application. So application name and version. So the same application you have multiple versions, so you have to choose the right version. Now what you have to do is come back uh, in your guide, right? Now we have to deploy 6 version. Now, before deploying, you have to get the values of the Helm repository. So, Helm show values D0280 repository name, application name, version. In the exam also, Helm show values your repository name, application name, followed by the version. What version they have asked, you have to mention that version. So, if you run this command, that will show you the values of that repository. If I scroll up, right, these are all the values that you can customize before deploying your application, right? So here you can change all the parameters. If you observe, the most important point is image. There is an image here, and there is also a route, that is your host name, ingress host name, right? So you have to make sure you get the values using this Helm show values. Now, how you can customize these values? So now what we have to do is we have to create a values.yaml file in the you can create in any folder as a matter of fact. Okay, values.yaml. In the values.yaml, right? They will mention. See, they will tell the image should be so and so image. Okay, and the application is Etherpad, tag is 111, and this is the host URL, development of Etherpad apps. So in the question, they will give you, they want this application to be deployed with this route, with this particular image. Now you have to write the same thing in the values.yaml. Again, you don't have to remember this. What you have to do is you copy that sections from the previous output. So if you scroll back, if I go back here, right, let me close this. So here I have image and I have post, right? See, I have image and I have, what else we have? I have route. So where is my route? Route I also I have, right? So what I will do is I'll copy from image to route. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'll copy from image from route. Okay, and then vi values.yaml. Okay, now paste it and remove all other lines. We don't need all these things. So maybe 10 dd. Okay, 5 dd. Okay, so this is what I want, image and okay, and image is repository. So repository name is, in the exam they will give you the application repository. So change this to repository, and name of the application is Etherpad, okay, and tag equal to some tag. So in the exam they will give you all these three values, three or whatever values they give, right? They will give you these values, right? And pull policy you don't need it, you remove the pull policy. Okay, and route you just say post. So you can remove enable equal to 2, target port you can remove, post, you copy the post name, whatever post name that they give. So what happens here is when you deploy the application using the Helm repositories, these values are taken into consideration and it will deploy the application. without changing the main configuration file. So these parameters, they will give their own parameters. They can give their own host name, tag, or whatever it is. Now, similarly, not only these parameters, they can give any value. If you scroll up, you will see all these services and all those things. Right? They will give all these things, but usually that will not be complicated. So they will give you this image and route. So copy paste from your Helm show values command, paste it in a values.yaml. Now you have to use this value.yaml file to create your application now. So for that, the command is login as I'm logged as an what you call admin only. So OC project, which project I'm in? Okay, OC again. You don't have to create a project here because the project is already there. If not, they will ask you to create a project. You create a project. Okay, so I will say project one. Now deploy the application. So Helm install example app, deployment etherpad, and values.yaml. So what I am doing here, if you observe, I am installing example app application. This is my Helm repository URL, and I am giving my values.yaml as an input to this repository, and I am specifically requesting for 006 version. So when you run this command, your application with 006 version will be deployed by taking the values.yaml. Okay. So that is how your applications will be deployed. So OC get routes. Okay, you can run this. You can get OC get routes. So if you see the routes, right? See this is the route that you have given, the host name that you have given inside your values.yaml. So in the exam also same process. See, right? So again, no need to run this lab command. So they will give you the repository URL and the parameters. So add the repositories, show the values, um, get the values of your repository, create a YAML values.yaml file, and then update your parameters, and then deploy your application. Right? Any questions in this Helm chapter?
Yeah, one question. So there is some tag with a version, right? 1.8, something like that, right? In the values data.
Yeah.
What was that again? We are using some version 006. So
No, this is the tag of this image.
okay,
Tag
understood.
of the image, and this is the version inside your Git repository. Sorry, Helm repository.
Okay.
That is different. That is a difference. So they will ask you to deploy this version from from Helm repository. That is first step. In the second step, they will give you the image name and image tag.
Okay.
And that's a difference. Okay, that is your. I started the recording, right? Okay. Yeah, I think I started. Yeah. Right. So that is your 16th question. Right? Now, next is your next question, which is your network policies. Right. So again, network policies, you can go back to this chapter, right? You have this network policy. See, config network policies, right? Fourth chapter. So click on here. You can run this command to start your network policy. So again, network policy is the way that it will allow and deny the traffic like your firewall in um, basic Linux environments, right? So they will ask you to create a network policy, deny all. So they will ask you to deny all the traffic, and then explicitly they will ask you to create a network policies to allow traffic from Sigma Hello Pod in the Sigma project from Galaxy project. There are two projects they will allow you to create. They are asking you to create the communication between the two projects on port 8080. Right? So first thing is you have to create a deny all network policies. So again, you need to write this whole file. You have to remember this and you have to write this network policy. So deny all network policy API version, and then name is default deny all and port selector equal to star. So that will this port selector star indicates all the ports. So for all the ports, I am denying the traffic. Right? So OC create -f deny all. So that will create deny all traffic. No pods can communicate to pods inside the namespace. Next, you have to explicitly allow traffic between two projects. That is, network policies, give a name, and selector, pod selector match label test pods, and ingress from your project name and port name. So any request coming from this particular project on port 80 is allowed to test pods inside your current pod. That is how, and then you create the network policies, allow. So you have to create two network policies, allow, deny all, and then explicitly allow. And then you have to remember all, you have to write this files manually. There is no way to generate this, but you have to remember this and you have to type this for files. Right. So for that, you can run this lab or lab start network policy. Right. Again, in the exam, you don't have to run this, but here you can run it for you to build your environment. Right here, you don't have to do all the things. So log in as a developer, create project. This is all fine. So this is all testing actually. So you can do the testing. So remember, they have created a project. And remember, again, I'm telling you, you don't have to create applications and projects in exam. Right? Projects are there, applications are there. You just have to troubleshoot, or you just have to create additional resources. Right? In the what you call in the network policy question also, projects are available, applications are available. But in when you practice, right, you need to have that environment, right? So OC, new project, create a project, then create an application, then create one more application to test the internal communication. But this step you don't have to do it because we have to test applications between two namespaces, right? And then again, you don't have to run all these things. So if you scroll down, right? Now this is where you will write your files, right? Scroll down, yeah. So this is your denial. So there is a sample file in this directory, right? Go to this directory, okay? Go to this directory, you will see that file, deny all. But again, in exam, you will not have this file, you have to write this file. So this is a reference file you can practice, okay? So vi deny all, okay, deny all. So you have to write whole contents, network policy, network version, metadata, and all these things. So here, what you have to write in the exam, deny all. So what is deny all? Default deny. The name is default deny. Okay. And you can give whatever name. If they give you a specific name for the deny all, you can give a deny all name. Or if they give any name, you give that name. And under specs, I will say port selector equal to so and so. Okay. Port selector equal to so and so. So what we are creating? We are creating a default deny policy for your project. Right? With this, we will create all the, we will restrict all the traffic because we are not selecting any pods. Right? So once you do this, right, and when you create this policy, right, in which project it will create, right? You say OC project, which project it will create? It will create inside my project one because I am running this command inside the project one. So your network policy will be created inside this project. So you need to write this file as it is and then OC create -f and then deny all. Yeah. Now OC get netpol. Netpol is the command to get your network policies. OC get netpol. So that is how you write the deny all traffic. Then the second part of the question is they will ask you to create, allow specific. Okay. So again, you need to create allow specific. So again, you have this allow specific, right? So vi allow specific. Again, these files are not available. You write it manually. Okay. So deployment name is, you have to give some name test based on your application availability, and then ingress network. Okay, right? So here you have to match the namespace selector. So namespace selector is, let's say, project 2. So let me write and explain project 2 and deployment equal to, let's say, sample. Okay, and then port number is 8080 and then TCP. Now, what we are doing here, so from within the project 2, there is an application called sample, and this request is coming from port 80. So any request coming from port 8080 from this sample application inside project 2 namespace, that will be allowed by the test deployment in your current namespace. So that is how you deploy the communication between the two applications. Right? Right? That is how you create the applications, network policies.
The both deployments will be mentioned in the question, right?
Yes, yes. And
Okay.
remember, no need to create projects, no need to create deployments,
Yeah.
nothing. Just two files, that's it. And then in the two files, mention the deployment name, project name. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. And then same thing, OC, create, FNF, and then LF specific dot here. Okay. And then OC get net call, you should see two policies, delay on LF specific. Right? That is how you can test after creating the two network policies. Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
right? So I mean, it's not easy. I know you need to practice a lot. For indentation, there are a lot of things that you need to practice. It's not easy. Writing YAML files, you know, right? So you need to have that indentation. You need to have that
Yeah.
experience. Otherwise,
Yeah.
don't be in a hurry in writing the exam. Because it's very difficult to clear, right?
I
So
understand. Yeah.
practice it, yeah. Right, that is your 18th question. Okay. Next is your cron tab. So cron tab is again in chapter, if I'm not wrong, cron tab is I think 8th or 9th. Yeah, 8th cron tab. So you can go to this last guide it says. So node maintenance cron tab. So you can run this command and then you can create your own cron tab. So but again, let's go to the exam question. So configure a cron tab, cron job, deploy a cron job. Cron job should be a part of maximum project. See, they're giving the project name also. So when you create a cron tab, first you have to go to this project, OC project, maximum project, and cron job takes name as the application image, right? So and then use the image, and you know, right? Cron tab needs an image. So whatever cron tab you run, that should run inside a container, right? For that it needs an image. So this is the image that you need to use, and cron job should be executed at 4/5 every second day of the month. Right? Again, this can change, right? Then the date, name, this can change. So this concept syntax is same like your Linux syntax. So first is minutes, hours, day of the month, uh, year, sorry, day of the month, day of the week, and yeah, that's all. That's how the same process, right? So same syntax. So whatever time they give, use that time, and use service account called Magnum. So we need to have create a service account, and the cron tab should use that service account. And there is also some parameter that you need to set. Successful job limit should be 5. The job limit for the successful job limit is 5. So these are some parameters that you need to configure. So for that, what you need to do is, again, create project, like it depends. See, if the project is there in the exam, you go to project. If the project is not there, try to create the project. It all depends upon the cases. But 90% of the cases, projects are already available. If not, create a project and solve your paper, solve your question. Okay. So now OC, new project, maximum. Okay. So you can create that project. Okay. And then cron job. OC create cron job, scaling, image, right? Equal to so and so image. So you have used this image, right? So OC create cron job. Cron job is scaling. The name of the cron job is scaling. This is the image and hyphen hyphen schedule equal to 4542. That is on minutes, hours, and day of the month. Second month or every second day of the month at 4/5 will execute. Right? So you create this, run this command. Okay. Now create service account. So again, they said the second part is my job is ready. Next is create a service account. So service account is OC create service account magnum. Okay. So create a service account. Right? Wait for 5 minutes, do the questions, right? Now edit your cron job, right? So after creating this magnum account, right? So again, just wait for some time and then you write your service account. So now what we have to do is we have to tag this service account to this cron job. So again, edit the cron job. So OC get cron job. Okay. So I have cron job scaling. So OC edit cron job and then scaling. Okay. Edit the cron job. Okay. And then in the editing section, right, under under the specs, you need to provide the service account magnum, whatever you have created. So go to the container section under specs. And here you have containers, right? Above the container, you write create a new line and then mention service account magnum. And there is one more thing. This is successful job limit should be 5. There is a parameter successful job history limit. So go back, right? Scroll down. I think there is nothing. We need to write that. So we need to write this entry. Successful job history limit would be 5. Right? So go back. Yeah, sorry, this is there. See?
There is a line.
Yeah. So change this to whatever value that they give. So two things, change this parameter and change this service, add service account. And remember the service account whenever you're writing, right, make sure you write above containers. So you have containers, right? In that content you have containers. Above that containers you write your service account. So then your content has that service account and it has that failed job count, successful job count. Right? And this all you can practice in this chapter, which is under chapter 8, cron jobs. Right? That is your cron job. And this is also one of the trickiest question. The next question is on Bootstrap template. So Bootstrap template is from the, I think it is 6th chapter. Go back to the 6th chapter. Okay, Bootstrap template. See, project template and self-provisional rule. So you can click on this lab, right? So you know the Bootstrap template, right? Any idea? Have you guys read this chapter?
No, no idea.
Yeah, so this is very important question. So a Bootstrap template is like when you create a project, right? I want to automate something. Like as soon as I create a project, I want RBAC, I want the limits I have, I want to configure all those parameters inside the namespace. So in that scenarios, you will create a Bootstrap template, right? And then you will make the template as a default template, right? So for that, what you have to do is again go through this chapter again because this it's a full chapter. You have to go through this, and then you come to this lab. Okay. So now for that, right, what they will give you in the exam is you have to export your Bootstrap template, and you have to edit the Bootstrap template with this limit ranges. So they will give you a limit range. In the exam, they will tell you the default limit ranges for your container should be maximum 2 GB, minimum is 1 GB, default equals to 1 GB. So as soon as you create a project, right, the project creation should also create a limit range. That limit range should create will allow only applications to use 1 GB minimum, maximum 2 GB. That is a limitation that you are setting, right? So these things you need to update in your limit ranges file. Again, you need to write this YAML file, very, very difficult. You need to understand what is Bootstrap template by reading the chapter, understand why we are writing this, and then based on that, you have to modify this file, right? So in the exam, they will give you this limit range, right? They will tell you container should minimum should use 1 GB, maximum is 2 GB. So you have to put this limit ranges in your template file, right? And then once your template is run, you should say OC create -f. So here, if you go back to your lab, right? So what you can do is you can run this lab, okay, lab start this self-service template, okay, run this one, okay. So after that, what you have to do is, okay, login as an, I think I'm already logged as an admin only. Let's see, OC, who am I? Yeah, I'm as an admin, right? That's fine. First thing is I have to export my current Bootstrap template. Okay, so the command is right. The command, if you see this one. So OC ADM create Bootstrap template project template hyphen YAML template dot YAML. So that will create a template dot YAML file. Okay, so create, I think the template.yaml file is already there. Okay, vi template.yaml. Okay, so probably if I say I will copy this, but I'll give you a different name, template one.yaml. Okay, I'm giving that name because the template is already there, which I've created in the last class, right? So that's how, if you say ls, your template one file will be created, right? Once your template one file is created, right, how it looks like is, see, if you open up this file, so this is your default template, right? Now, here at the end of the file, right, you have parameters, right? So you need to write your new configuration above parameters. That is, you have to open up a new line here under parameters, and then you have to write hyphen API version, okay, and then you can say limit ranges, okay, okay, and then you write all your lines here, so all your lines here. And then you have to create the Bootstrap template. So this is how your file will look like. If you open up the your original file, vi template.yaml, right? See, this is what I have given written here. See your parameters at the bottom, right? And here I am writing limit ranges, and then maximum the name of the limit range, and default equal to 1G and maximum equal to 1G, and that too for container. Same file, you have to write it, in your template file. You have to practice this. You have to understand this chapter, read it thoroughly. It will take some time. This is one of the complicated topic in the 280, right? So what this will do is, as soon as you create this template, when you create your application, or when you create this template, and whenever you create a new project henceforth, it will create the limit ranges or whatever you have given written here, right? Limit range or network policies or RBAC, those will be created automatically, right? And that is how you will create your, and then use OC create -f template.yaml. And remember, you have to create this template in OpenShift-config namespace. So if you run this, your project template will be created, right? So exact replica is your chapter 6 guidances. Try to practice this, understand how it works. Okay, without reading this chapter, you cannot, you cannot mug up, or you cannot write these as it is. So because later if something happens, you need to know how to troubleshoot. That is important. Okay.
Yeah, understood.
So practice it. It's very, very, I mean, concept is simple. The challenge with 280 is writing YAML file. That is the challenge. Not that you don't know the concept, right? So yeah, try to practice that and hopefully, practice 2 3 times.
In the exam also, this project file will generate it automatically, right? I mean, with that command.
Yes, yes, this command,
Okay.
this command.
Uh, okay. Sure.
And modify this template. And then
Yeah.
we create -f and then file. That's it.
Okay.
OC create. That's it. Download the template, modify the template, OC create -f.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the last question. So they will ask you to gather the OpenShift logs, the whole logs of your OpenShift. This question is not there in your labs. This topic they have not discussed in our lab guide, in our student guide. So we need to use a must gather. So must gather is a tool which gathers all your log files so that you can.
If you don't mind, I know going before 21. So there is a line like OC edit projects, right? What was that
So this
on the
one
above question?
we actually forgot. So once you modify this file, right, you have to
Hmm.
make this template as a default. So we have to edit the OC projects cluster, and then we have to edit the specs. Now, if you scroll back, I will open up that file. Okay, so OC edit projects config cluster. So what we are doing, I am configuring the projects concepts inside my cluster. That is how what is the default template my cluster should pick up to create projects. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you click enter, right, under the specs, you don't have anything, right? That
Yeah.
is, you are not using any default project, right? So it is using a default project. It is not using your project, your file. Okay. So in that case, you have to write project resource template and you have to give your name, your project template name, whatever you have created in the previous step. So once you save this, right, any new project, whenever your cluster is trying to create a new project, it will follow this template. And what do you have in this template? In the template, you have limit ranges. So automatically, when you create a project, this template will be requested.
Okay. Where this project request is defined?
This is your this file, this one, your template only.
Okay.
Create template.yaml, right? This is the file that it requests, project request. So project request we are giving C project request.
Oh yeah. Okay. Metadata. Yes.
This
Okay.
is the one which we are calling there.
Yeah. Understood.
Right? So that is two steps. So create your what do you call template and make the template as default. Next one is must gather. So gather the logs. So the first thing is before gathering the log files, you need to get the cluster version. So OC get cluster version, run this command, OC get cluster version. And here you have to generate that in an output format and then grep for the cluster ID. So because you need to create that what you call your log files in the form of your cluster ID. Right? So run this command OC get cluster version, get the cluster ID. So this is the unique ID of your cluster. Right? This is unique ID of your cluster. Now using this ID, we will try to save the log files. To save the log files, OCADM must gather. That is a command. OCADM must gather. So this must gather will gather, like remember in Linux you have source report, right? What source report?
Yeah. Yes.
It will report, it will pull all the logs and it will compile in a tar file so that you can send that to the Red Hat support for troubleshooting, right? Same thing. So this must gather also will generate a log files in a folder. So run this, it will take maybe 3 4 minutes. So OCADM must gather, that will run all the files, it will create a folder. So we'll wait for 3 4 minutes. Once the folder is ready, the next task is you have to tar, you have to zip the folder, okay? And the tar file name should be name hyphen cluster ID. So whatever cluster ID you have received here, right? You have to use that ID. So name hyphen cluster ID dot tar dot z. and must gather tab. So when you press tab, it will fill up the folder name. And then your tar file will be ready. So they will give you a script in the exam. So /sh script and give this tar file name as an input. So that file will be uploaded to the remote site. So that is how you have to do it in the exam. Upload using the script provided. So / script name space and the tar file name. So that will upload that tar file to a remote location. Right. So let's wait for this. So it will take 3-4 minutes. So right, we'll come back. So that's the last question. So any questions before before we wind up this session?
There will be some shell script to upload it.
Yeah. There will be some script, but we don't have that script. I will tell you what to run. Let this run. Let this complete. I will tell you what to do. Okay.
Mhm.
So this question is still running. So in the meanwhile, we can discuss if you have any doubts.
Sure. We skipped some 17th and 8th question. So, are we going to?
Okay. Eighth question, right? Yeah. Eighth question is there, right?
Yeah.
Now,
What about 17 one? 17 also skipped.
17, 17. I think 17, the question they have removed it. There is no 17th question. So after 16,
Okay.
they have removed the 16th, 17th. I think they have removed the question. So sometimes they
Okay.
change and also you will not get whole 20 questions. Sometimes they will remove the questions based on the students' input. We will change this,
Yeah.
so every
Understood.
time they remove add few questions, right? But if you sit for the exam, probably you
Mm.
might get very less number of questions, or they might add one question also. But at least 80% its paper is common to clear.
Understood.
Right? So that's how we gather the questions from the students, like whether the paper is still valid or not.
Oh, anyone like attended this class,
Yeah, yeah,
passed recently?
yeah, they passed recently.
Okay.
Same questions.
Yeah, last time when I attended some Ansible, so within 1 or 2 months, the paper got changed.
Uh,
Slightly changed. So
Last
yeah.
week only, one of the candidate has written. There he has cleared it.
Okay, that sounds good.
And this is your eighth question. So eighth question is very simple. You don't have to do anything in the exam. So in the eighth question, right, they will configure you to configure secure routes, right? So again, you can practice this in our lab. If you scroll down, the chapter number is secure, which is your I think fourth chapter, yeah, right? Configuring your external traffic with TLS. So in this guide exercise, remember you have done this OpenSSL commands, right? So what
Yeah,
you have created the certificates for your SSL certificates for your HTTPS routes. And if you scroll down, and just scroll down, I'll show you. See here, first you have generated the training.key using OpenSSL. Second is using this key, you have generated the CSR. And in the third step, using the CSR, we have created the uh, training.cert, right? So first key, then CSR, then certificate, right? But the challenge is you can't remember all these commands in the exam, right? So in the exam, what they will give you is, so you have to remember this one, right? This part, this portion. So in the exam, what they will give you is, they will tell you configure secure route, right? And they will give you these details like create secure route for this one. Now remember, in exam, they don't give like this in a straightforward way, right? So they will give you country equal to US, state equal to CA, location equal to Los Angeles, organizations for example, OU equal to IT, CN equal to this name. They will give you in a paragraph. Okay, so you have to convert that paragraph into this format. So you have to mug up this. Remember, capital C, capital US. Again, /state. There is no space in between, right? /L location. /o organization, /ou, /cn. So you have to mug up this kind of statement, or this mug up this what you call uh, indentation, right? Once you have this right, they will give you a script, right? So the script is new cert. So they will give you the script name, and you have to provide your input in this fashion. Now, if you type ls after running this command, right? If you type ls, you should see these two files like this, right? You should see key and certificate in your current working directory. So you don't have to run the OpenSSL commands. Previously, in the older version of exam, we used to create that OpenSSL commands, and it is very difficult to remember those commands. So now they have made it easy. So all you need to do is, in a new script, you have to provide your subject. And remember, don't make any mistake here. Otherwise, you have to, nothing will happen. You have to remove the files and recreate your new certificates again. Right? So now when you say lsfnl, you will see those files and then run the OC get route. Delete the default route because there is already a default route. Delete the route and then create a route with edge. So OC create route edge, service, give the service name, certificate and key. These two are the files which this command has been generated, and give the host name. And remember, this host name they have already given in the question paper. See, the host name they have already given in the exam. Okay, and the service is already available in the namespace OCGet SVC. Right? See, your application is already deployed. Your application service route is already available. So you have to delete the existing route and then create your certificates and then create an edge route and access your edge route using this one. Right? So your exact replica is this lab, but you don't need to remember all these OpenSSL commands. If you have this key and cert, right, the only command that you need to run is this one. That is your OC create route pass through or edge. Right? So this is how you need to practice in your exam or in the lab also. So, but currently we don't have the script, but at the back end, your script will create these two files. That's it. So only logic here is you need to remember this syntax. And then once you have those two files, you have to run this command to create the route.
Understood.
Okay. So this question is also simple. It's not difficult as like your project templates. So only thing is, if you remember this one, your question will be easy. Right? Only question which is hard is your limit ranges question and your project templates, because you need to write those files, YAML files. Other than that, rest of the things are okay.
Can you go to the question one? So the eighth one, I see some
Which one?
web, right? This one, eighth only. So this should be also in some inside the project or
Inside the project. So
web project. Yeah, okay, I got it.
in this project, you will have application, deployment, service, and route also is available. Everything is available. So first
Understood.
thing is you have to remove the route. You have to remove the existing route, right? The OC delete route and delete the route. Now, next thing is you run the script and generate your certificates, and then you create the route. Two steps: create a certificate and create route. That's it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so that is your eighth question. And let's come back to the last one. So once you have the file, right? See, this is ready. So it will take 3-4 minutes. So if you type ls, you should see a folder called this folder, must gather something. So you need to rename this with your cluster ID. Right? So what is that cluster ID? So tar-cvf name hyphen, okay, and cluster. This is your cluster ID. See, this is your cluster ID. You can see the cluster ID here. Okay, and here you will give tar.user. Okay, and then the folder name must gather. See what I'm doing? I am compressing this must gather folder. See? And
Yeah.
I am renaming it as name hyphen the cluster ID.target because a lot of people will upload in the exam, right? So they want us to upload using our cluster ID so that they can easily remember, identify your logs.
Yeah.
So it will compress all your log files. So if you say ls here, I should see this name hyphen some cluster ID.target. Now they will give you a script in the exam. Okay, in the exam you upload using script. So probably they will have sh upload.sh something like this. They will give you the script name and then you have to provide the file name.
Or the file name, right?
That's it. So this script will upload somewhere, whether it is remote location or it will copy somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it. So upload and they will give you the script name in the exam. So use that name and upload that to the remote location.
Okay, sure. I got you.
What is your last question?
Okay.
And the exam version is 4.14, right?
4.14.
Okay.
And
Okay.
exam is 3 hours exam.
Understood. I mean, you said some document will be given in the exam as well, right?
There will be offline documentation. See, you can refer this first link.
Okay, and not like a document that you're showing, like a do 280
No,
code,
no, no.
the first,
You will
not
not
like.
have internet. You will not get any PDF. So this is all HTML pages. So that is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
problem. Even though they give documentation, we don't have time to search. That
Very
is
large documentation then,
very large,
not like the first one.
yeah, very large documentation.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's the reason practice thoroughly. So
Yeah,
don't depend on documentation because it will eat away your time.
yeah, I understood.
So that's how practice it. I mean, network policies. That is one question. Network policies, project templates, and limit ranges. These 3 questions you have to write those YAML files. So practice them. The rest all are commands only. So simple. These 3 questions you practice.
Sure, yeah, understood.
Sir, can you share this document?
Yeah. I am uploading right away.
Yesterday we thought of practicing, but because
Yeah, just give me a minute. Let me upload this file right away, and then I will upload the recording also. This is your folder, right? I will upload. Yeah, uploading. Yeah, uploaded. And I will upload this part to recording also now. Maybe in another 30 minutes, the video will be ready. I will upload.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is your folder. You can access the folder, right?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we are able to access it, I think.
Yeah.
So let me
So I
check.
upload the recording, today's recording, then you can follow through. Probably I'll keep it this for another 1 month. So maybe you try to download and keep it a copy because I need to clean up the space in my G drive. Right?
Okay, sure.
So
We'll download it.
download and keep it, and I'll keep it for another maybe 20 to 25 days. So in the meanwhile, you
Okay.
can download. But before deleting, I'll drop you a message. Don't worry.
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay, Mike, then all the best. I will upload this and practice it thoroughly. Don't directly go sit in the exam. Don't practice the question paper directly, as I told you. Practice your all the labs first, and then you practice your exam paper.
Sure, yeah.
Okay?
exam question paper is uploaded, right?
Yeah. You can see this on my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So PDF I uploaded.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, guys. Then all the best.
Yeah.
Ping me.
Thank you, Arvind.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, guys. Yeah. Bye.